We're on air right now. Go ahead and do an introduction, ladies. Tell us who you are. Go ahead and do that.
Thank you, Mom. Hi. This is Susan Wellington again. We spoke a little over a week ago, and as I said, I'm actually in real estate. I've been a career mom all my life, and I'm a mother of 2 kids, and we talked about my divorce in Oakland County, Michigan. I met Tammy because I was concerned about divorce, like we talked about my divorce last time, and we talked about that it was in Oakland County, and we can kind of get into that a little bit. And I met Tammy through a network of women who have been through divorce and other things. Tammy, you want to say hi? Hi, I'm Tammy. I had the pleasure of meeting Susan and Mark, and I appreciate all the advice and input they're giving me. I kind of stumbled upon them from some information that I'm passing around on Facebook based on what I've been through. I lost my children on June 29th, 2010, when I relocated to Canton, Ohio, to care for my mother when she passed away, and I had a protective order against the father at the time, and the judge was aware I was moving in the previous state. When I moved to Ohio and had my kids taken, I had previously had blood from the stepmother, who became a CASA, guardian ad litem, in the same court as the judge on my case down in Palm Beach County, Florida. His name is Judge John Phillips. Well, I couldn't figure out how I could have my children taken from me when I had a protective order against the father for abuse and violence, and that I got permission in the courts in North Carolina. And when I moved to North Carolina, I couldn't get this order in effect when I moved here. I couldn't even get a paper filed in the court. So I went to legal aid. Legal aid refused to help me. I went there actually several times. I have a couple different letters from them, still refusing to help me. And I thought to myself, what is going on here? How can this happen, that my children can just be taken from me, never to see again? And I was always a good mother and don't have, any history of drugs, neglect, alcohol abuse, mental issues, nothing. So I started doing my research, and I really focused on the stepmother, actually, because since she had called to bless me, using her position as a CASA guardian ad litem, I thought, geez, this must be a very powerful organization. We didn't actually use CASA in our case. We used an attorney who actually felt that stepmother, who's a guardian ad litem, had some mental problems and was dangerous. So anyway, the stepmother, I started researching CASA, since that's the program that she was bragging about that she worked for. I uncovered that CASA was getting federal funding, and it was through the Fatherhood Initiative. Tammy, I'm sorry, we were going to kind of introduce ourselves, and I thought I was going to kind of introduce them first. Yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, that's okay. Mara, did you have a question first? Because I know you usually have.
No, the real question I have is, we talk about a stimulus. I wonder how many other organizations are part of this problem who are getting stimulus money. That's another question I have. That's a great question.
Yeah. Well, let me go ahead there, if you don't mind. As we talked about before, Mark, in Oakland County, Michigan, where Judge Gorcyca had taken over my case, I had noticed that suddenly I had gone from having my son back in 1998, 1999, and they changed judges on me. She was elected, and she came in, and we hadn't been back to court for a while, and we ended up going back to court when my son's 17, like 13 years later, and suddenly I realized the difference in the friend of the court counselor, Rodney Yeager. He was rude to me on the phone. He was accusatory. And then when I got to court and we had my ex-husband filed all of a sudden there was a different demeanor. Everybody, they were buddies with my ex-husband. The judge was liking my husband, giving him, slapping him on the back, saying what a great job he did as my honor roll son, who I had custody of all these years, and my older daughter as well, who I had. So long story short, a friend of mine had gone through a bitter custody battle. And back in 2011, she gave me some information, and she had been researching what was going on. Why was it that she had a situation in Oakland County Court in front of Judge Brennan, another judge, who, even though she reported her husband was abusing their child, they basically ignored it. They sent it to Child Protective Services and didn't do anything about it. Well, she started researching, and she found a woman who had started researching back in 1995, and she connected me with her. So back in 2011, I met this woman who had been researching this for more than 15 years, and she started telling me that what had happened is she compiled all this information. She had moved from Michigan over to Washington, D.C. She put together a website. She'd gotten documentation over the years. Now she's up to more than 2,000 women that she's talked to. She went to these meetings, and she actually found and shared with me oodles of information. And right after the United States signed the UN Agenda 21 treaty, President Clinton, shortly after that, put together a presidential council to infiltrate UN Agenda 21 across the country. Then what he did is he did the White House 1995 executive order